What's going on, everybody? It's David Piatek, and I have Paul here with Vet Mentor AI, a tool that veterans can use to leverage AI technology to help them with their VA disability claim. I think it's pretty cool, Paul. Well, welcome. We met not too long ago at a conference for veterans, and you talked about this idea, and I think it's pretty cool because going through that process myself, it kind of had. It's nice that there's somebody there to help you through that process and aid you. So, welcome on today, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks, David. So my name is Paul Hylandski, Vet Mentor AI. So I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and when I got out, much like most veterans, I struggled to get my disabilities. I applied 5 different times over the span of years, kept getting denied. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up and I was 10%, and I was like, something is wrong. And so then I did what most veterans do. I went to a lawyer and they were going to take this exorbitant amount. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to quit. I got a job. I'm good to go. And so then I quit. And then, fast forward a bunch of years, AI came around and I said, well, I want to learn how to code. What if I could build an AI application? And so I spent 6 months and I was the most boring person in the world. And I learned how to code 5 different computer languages. So then I coded an AI tool. It was a very rudimentary AI tool, but I coded an AI tool and I ended up using it to help me get my benefits. And I got all of my benefits and all of my back pay. And,
Oh,
from that, it was amazing. And then I thought, okay, well, how do I help more people? So I helped a lot of the Marines I had served with actually get their benefits. And then we went on to have a bunch of beta users, and then we realized we got something, and the tool's amazing just to utilize AI to help veterans.
that's awesome. And I think that's a common story for a lot of veterans, Paul, is that, and I know this, I talk to a lot of folks that reach out from online and just being in the community. It's that I tried, I got denied, or I got a 10% rating. I just talked to someone today, just like an hour ago, where they're like, I got a 10% rating. I'm like, you know what? I just give up because I don't have the kind of time and I got to go back. And then, you have the flip side, right? You have AI, a tool that can help you by you putting information in. It kind of searches everything, kind of comes back. And then you also have a human component to it, right? Like you used an attorney, which that's what I've heard a lot of too, right? And for some people, that might be the answer, right? We're not here to say this is wrong, this is right, but this is more of a tool to take, I would say, take it in your hands, right? Like you
Yeah.
have control, you can put it in, you're not paying X amount of money. And you could probably also double this up with a like if you're working with a VSO, right? Because that
That's
might
a
be the route.
huge it's a
Yeah.
huge tool for that. And so for the average veteran who comes out, they don't speak like the CFR. They don't know the
Yep.
M21 rating manual. They don't teach us this. But yet we have to almost be like a lawyer in order to get our disabilities. And most veterans aren't, right? And
Nope.
nor should they have to be. And so what this platform does is it literally levels the playing field for the veteran. I mean, it makes you as smart as some of the lawyers that are doing this. And, for VSOs, it is huge tool because VSOs, are trying to be these miracle workers and they range in experience level.
Huge
Right.
range.
And so
Huge
like
range.
a lot of veterans are really lucky when they find the old E8 or E9 that got out and they know every single thing. But imagine the newer VSOs that are trying to cram all that information into their head and help these veterans. And so, what the platform for the VSOs does is it actually streamlines the entire process. So, no more does the veteran walk in with an accordion size,
Right.
medical record and say, I don't know where to start. The platform makes it so that every VSO who gets the little package has 5 pages and it tells the VSO exactly how to file their claim specifically for that veteran.
Oh wow, that's awesome. And then by the way, everyone, I got to play around with the system, so we're gonna actually show you what it looks like. And let us know in the comment section because I was talking with Paul and I said, you know what? I think it'd be fun to do a live event where we actually could demo this for you guys to see like the answers it's giving And then you kind of know, like, because you do really have to put your specific situation in, because no matter how similar you may think you are to somebody else, I promise you your situation will be different. You have different dates, you have different information. You can go to the same hospital with the same symptoms but have two different diagnoses, right? And that's it's like it's wild too, because when you're in the military they tell you sick call. They're like, don't go to sick call because then you'll miss this. I've been that happened to me so many times. Or like, even I had to miss a graduation because I had to go to sick call for like a dental thing. And that was their punishment for doing that. And you just think to yourself, like why does this exist, that culture of that? But that's kind of what we're working with
Yeah,
on
and I
that
mean
piece.
that's one of the things, David, that a lot of veterans talk about is hey, I didn't have a medical diagnosis in service, or I didn't go to sick call because I wasn't going to go to sick call, or I was straight
Right.
away from it. And the AI platform basically tells them how that even without that they could be eligible for their benefits based on their MOS, based on a
Right.
nexus to service, right? And even the veterans that have been like, well, there's no way that I'd be eligible, or there's no way, there typically are eligible.
Right.
And but proving that, and so you hit it on the head, but especially with a lot of like veterans in my era, that served in the early 2000s, and even before that, sick call wasn't a thing, and we
Right.
weren't thinking, we thought we were invincible then, and then you get out and you realize you're not invincible, and
Yeah, and another big benefit of, and just kind of I harp on it because again, I was one of those that I didn't kind of realize what was going on until you kind of do it and you're like, okay, maybe there is something here. But what, as you get older, just in general, right? You Medicare normally doesn't really cover everything. It's not a shocker, okay? Having VA disability benefits on top of that is a game changer. I promise you. And we've talked to a lot of veterans that's been happening too. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys want us to do a live event like that, because I'm happy to do them every week or every other week just so we can get more information out. But let's demo the actual site. It's live. You can go and sign up. We're gonna drop a link down below that you can go check out. But this is kind of like this is the dashboard. So just walk us through it,
yeah.
Paul. Like, what are we looking
So,
at?
so the tool is broken down into a couple different things, and I'll just kind of go through each of the tools. But the claim success tracker is where you want to start first. And the claim success tracker basically goes through every single step of the process, from even which documents you need, how to purchase the system, to make sure that you fill out the claim optimizer report. And so that's really the cornerstone of the product is the claim optimizer report. And so if we go into there, the claim optimizer report is basically a simulation of the VA form you're going to have to fill out anyway. And so you're going to put your personal information in, your service information, all the specifics. And like David said, you have to be very specific because it is crafting the answer for you. And so your medical history, disabilities, right? New or worsening disabilities. So this is able to look at anything your service connected with already and anything new, and actually detect if it's a presumptive condition, a secondary condition. This is going to tell you exactly how you should file your claim. And so with this tool, the veteran literally has a synopsis, and as you go through that, you're going to put your information in, but at the very end you'll get a report. And what it does is it actually is trained, the AI algorithm is trained as a VA rater. And so at the end you're going to get a report that actually rates your claim by the strength of your claim. And so you'll
Oh wow.
see, out of a score of 1 to 10, the strength of your claim. We tell veterans, do not, file your claim unless you got an 8, 9, or 10, right?
Right.
Because if you get an 8, 9, or 10, so far we've had a 100% success rate.
Oh
Over
wow.
94 veterans have used the platform with an 8, 9, or 10. 100% have gotten all of their disabilities approved.
Wow.
Total platform wise, we have a 92% success rate. And we don't classify success rate like most states and most organizations do. The states, the way they classify success rate is if you file for 5 disabilities and you get one of the 5, that's a success to the state. And
Interesting.
so what we do is if you file for 5 and you get 4 out of the 5, we classify that as a no-go, as a failure, and then
Wow.
we use that as training for the AI. And so when we initially started the platform, we had about an 80% success rate. And through constant training of the platform, we're up to 92%. And we expect that to continue to grow and become even better as we continue to train it on any failures we do have.
Wow. And that's the thing that, and then that's one that working as a community to help feed the system so we can do better at
Yeah.
it. One question I do want to address, and I did see that on the claim success because people are going to have questions
Yeah.
to sign up. And I know we let me just pull it up quickly, and then and then I'll kind of zoom out of
Yeah.
it. Be on here. Step one: purchase access to the platform, 19.99 or 149.99. So just walk me through. So to sign up, is there a cost to just get access to the platform?
No, so you can sign up for free and then look at the tools. And so we have a lot of career tools as well. So some of the platform has resume builders, the career avatars that'll actually help you find a job, get a
I saw
job,
that. That's
do
cool.
your
Yeah.
LinkedIn, right? I mean, so we're using the technology, which is part of the reason why it's a paid fee. And so we broke it down, and what we did was it's 19.99 a month because most veterans have anywhere from a 6 to 12 month time span on
Yep.
the actual platform. And then we made it a one-time fee for a yearly of a 149.99. And so, just to address the like how I came up with the price was I literally took the nearest competitor and I cut their price by 90%. And that was why it's priced exactly that way.
I got
And
you.
yeah, we're changing the game really with even Nexus letters, right? Our
Yep.
platform creates Nexus letters that scrape the internet and it finds the medical journals and studies that actually correlate your case.
I
So
did see that.
veterans, I mean, it's disgustingly amazing, and and so veterans don't have to pay $500 or $1,000 for a Nexus letter from a Nexus farm anymore. We can
Wow.
literally create one and then take it to your primary care doctor and get it signed.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I messed around with it to kind of see like where you can go in and fill it out. But that piece is amazing. Now, one thing that I know I was asking you before we kind of kicked off was with some of the information, right?
Yep.
That you put in. And the more detailed information you put in, the better the information you get, right? And that's
Yes.
and I want to share that one more time, show you guys the screen. So that's your personal information. Now, Paul, are you collecting this and selling this to people?
No, no. So it's actually quite the contrary. So we actually sanitize all of the PII or personal identification
Okay.
information. And so you can see in that very top section, the only personal information that you actually put in is your full name, your email, your phone number. And so it's pretty much everything somebody could get off of Google for you. And
Right.
so we did that on purpose. And that's because I use the platform first, then all my friends use the platform, and then all the veterans, right? So we built this to protect the veteran because the number one is we don't need your personal information. I know you know your address. I know you know your social security number. I
Right.
don't need to know it. It doesn't help me help you with your claim any, right? And
Right.
so we just didn't include it. And we are HIPAA compliant, which is nice, and we have all this we have all this additional stuff that we do to sanitize the data and everything. Like when it goes to the AI, there is no PII that actually goes to the AI. And so the
Oh,
veteran's
I got you. Like,
information is all anonymous, anonymous when it
gotcha.
goes into the AI. And that's again another safeguard to protect the veteran.
Gotcha. But it uses things that are relevant, like the brand, like where you served,
Yeah.
MOS, all of
Yep.
that, because it has to tie into research and what's out there. And that's clever. Like, yeah, especially with those Nexus letters, because especially if you've been out for what, more than a year, you need to have a Nexus letter
Yeah.
connecting you to it. So, but
And
at
most
least
of these
having the
veterans are, and most of these veterans are driven to these companies that are charging $500 to $1,000, and that can seem daunting. If you just need a Nexus letter, I mean, you can get one on the platform for $20, right? And
right.
it's literally, you take it to your doctor and you're done. I'm just trying to really change the because if it was more accessible, maybe more veterans would actually go get their benefits, but it feels hopeless sometimes.
I think a lot of times, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And I mean,
because
if you don't, you might not have $1,000 to go get a Nexus letter and, have to wait months in order to get your benefits. And it is really hopeless sometimes.
yeah, for sure. And then, and plus the process can take long, and just in general, right? Because it's interesting to me how they really do this scheduling for those CMP exams. Because yeah, they give you a 2 week notice, but like if you're not running and gunning, but if you're like working all the time and you have
Yeah.
to travel, that makes it really hard. So you have an aspect that some people just give up just because of
Yep.
that, or they get denied, or they hear horror stories.
And
But I encourage you, don't give up, because there
now,
are tools, and this could be a really nice tool. But I'll drop that link in the description. Let us know if you want us to do live events demoing this, because I think that'd be awesome. It's going to be detailed for sure, because if you make it too general, right, you're going to get general response. You
It's
want to
it
be as
yeah, it's still even general. It'll give them because I've done other demos. It
oh
is
really
really amazing. Like it will tell them exactly how they should go, exactly what to say. But it would be amazing with your audience to really demo even some of the avatars,
yeah,
because we have avatars that are like they look like a Zoom call and they actually interact with you.
they do.
And
I
it's always
tried it.
amazing because you get all these different questions and then the avatars answering the questions. It's really cool for the veterans.
That's awesome. And I know that you had in there the CMP exam simulator, so you can
uh,
simulate an
that's been a
exam.
game changer. So it's actually doctors, and we did it on purpose. So there's a couple different things and they're all kind of built for the veterans. So we put the doctors in an actual doctor office, and they have the white coat. For some of our veterans that have anxiety, PTSD, maybe the white coat syndrome, right? They get practice actually in engaging. And so what the doctor will do is they'll actually do the full CNP exam with the
Wow.
disability benefits questionnaire. And at the end, they'll grade you. They'll say, David, you got a 7 out of 10. And this is what you should have said. You should have focused on the severity and symptoms of the
Right.
migraines. You should have brought a migraine journal with you, right? Like, and it'll coach you. And so we've had veterans actually send testimonials and said, I knew the questions before the doctor even asked them. And
Right.
then they also knew when the doctors missed the question. So they
That's
were
a big
able
one.
to say.
That's a big one. Yeah, and Paul, just want to clarify, you I know you've mentioned it a couple times now. The coaching part, it's not necessarily like trying to scam the system. It's more of, and I understand this because if you haven't looked at that manual for
Yeah.
rating, if
Yeah.
you don't say, like, your conditions may be like moderate versus mild. Do you know what the
Yep.
difference is? And you wouldn't, but what the crazy part is that you get two different ratings for it.
100
And yeah,
perfect example is the
moderate, yeah,
migraines. So this
yeah.
is the coaching that we do, right?
Well,
If
it's
you
you
go
put
in
your
and
information in, and then it's
what's that?
telling you, like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's telling you. So if I go in and they say, how often do you have headaches or migraines? And I say, I have a few headaches a week or a few headaches a month. I typically will get 0. But if I go in and I say I'm having 3 to 4 prostrating migraines that impact my work and my life, and now I am struggling to function at work, which is what is really happening. I
Correct.
just said
Right.
it in the different words. But what veteran in the world talks like the CFR? Who goes
Right.
around and talks about debilitating, incapacitating, all
Right.
these key words? So that's what we do. We prep the veterans to
Right.
talk exactly like they have to.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because that yeah, then that's what we're trying to well,
Yeah,
that's at
and
least
and just
yeah,
to one more thing to address what you were saying, there are safeguards in the platform that allow, basically make it so that you can't scam the system. So
gotcha.
it will require you to get certain information before it gives you the full story. You have to actually go through and have those things. Ultimately, it depends on the rater at the VA
Right.
anyway. Even if you got all of the information, said all of the right stuff, you still need the proper documentation.
Right. And that's the
Yeah,
key. And that's why this helps you with all that stuff. So I think it's a pretty cool tool, Paul. I'm excited that we met. I'm glad that we
me
connected.
too.
I'm glad we jumped on a video to share this with the community. And like we said, drop comments. Let us know if you want us to do more stuff for this in the description. And I'll also tag it um in the actual what's it called in the comment section. Well, I'm not an affiliate. I just met Paul and I'm like, I want to share the information just so everybody's aware out there. It's not there's nothing going on. It's more of, hey, I support helping veterans, and that relates to housing. You get a lot of benefits like VA loans. You don't pay the VA funding fee. You can qualify for property tax exemptions. If you're not paying, if you qualify, let's say for instance, at the extreme of 100% PNT, you get Champ VA and access to the VA. Medicare costs of $500 to $1,000 a month hold people back from becoming homeowners. So it's all these things that just kind of add up. So thanks again, Paul, for being on. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everyone that joined us today, and then we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thank you.